Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Tommy Chris TV. It's been a while since we've been on the air, but it's good to be back. And we have a special guest with us. Ron Marks is with us. He's sitting right here next to me. Ron is a singer, guitarist, songwriter, producer, and he's doing very well in the area. You can find him just about everywhere. And welcome to the show. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. History. Tell us a little bit. I know that you started on drums when you were 5.
That's right.
And then what happened?
Well, I'm third generation. My grandfather had the Karl Marx concert band from the 1920s. My uncle Carl started Marx music in 1947, still going strong. My dad was a great jazz musician, attended Cincinnati Conservatory. And so it's no accident that I'm a musician.
Yeah.
And started at 5, played drums for till my teen years. Then I wanted to write music, so I couldn't write music on drums. Picked up a guitar, and the rest is history. Was lucky enough at age 23 to go to Switzerland and join Celtic Frost. Well, there's tribute bands out, and we're going to New York City this summer to attend a show.
So you're still with Celtic Frost?
No. That's been over for quite some time.
Oh,
but they're tribute bands to the band, and sometimes they invite me to shows, and I sit in with them.
Oh, that's great.
And I have my original band, Subsonic, which has 5 albums released on DSN Music.
Okay.
And currently, the big thing is Bonneville, which is a 70s tribute band. get out there.
When you say tribute, it's not just a 70s cover. Who are you?
Well, it's not a tribute to any one band. It's a tribute to the decade.
Good. That's great. Because I always wonder how do you play? I mean, it's probably there's enough material to play the songs from one artist all night long.
Yeah, we didn't want to do that and wear the costumes and all that bit. We wanted to hit, we're doing Zeppelin, Aerosmith, Kiss, Steve Miller Band, Elton John. We're getting pretty broad.
Oh, that's good. Good. Who all is in Bonneville?
Paul Scouron is on lead vocals,
Mm-hmm.
myself on guitar, Paul Guzman on bass, and Mark Munyon on drums.
Okay.
All from the area.
Good. So, where do you have current bookings?
Yes, our first show is at Club 7 in Austintown, April 5th.
Club 7. Where is that in Austin?
On Raccoon Road.
Okay. I'm not familiar with Club 7.
It's going to be a cool show.
What did it used to be?
Oh, so many things. I mean, a country bar, dance
I
bar.
hope it stays Club 7
I
for a
hope
while.
so. At least till April 5th.
Yeah, that'd be great. Now tell us about this Swiss band. Kind of fascinated me. Now, how did that? You had to go to Europe for this, right?
Yes, I lived in Zurich.
Oh, what was that like?
Yeah.
Zurich has to be a great town.
It was great, but I mean, it was a whirlwind, because I was really young. We were all really young, and the band had already been established for some years and done some world tours. And when I got there, they were just releasing their third album, Into the Pandemonium, and I toured for that in the UK and in the US, and went back 2 years later and did co-wrote and recorded an album, Vanity Nemesis, with the band.
The Dino Network presents Ron Marks as our featured Dino Snapshot.
Hi there, I'm Ron Marks. I'm a composer and musician. I'm a former member of the band Celtic Frost from Switzerland, and I am the founder of the band Subsonic, which is from America. We have an ongoing working relationship with Digital Syndicate Network, who provides us with worldwide distribution. The first release is entitled Trifecta, which consisted of the first 3 Subsonic albums, Superbell, No Such Soul, and Blood Groove. In addition to that, DSN has released a purely acoustic album named Honeycomb. This was very demanding to accomplish, and quite proud of it as well.
By the time I find the paper, the news is always old. And by the time I get her painted, the tires will go flat. I used to be so young and obvious. Now I'm just a day late.
Our most recent joint venture will be a satire release of about 25 tracks that might knock on Frank Zappa's door. And speaking of that, Dweezil Zappa, if you're out there and listening, we would love to be the opening act for Zappa Plays Zappa. With this much original material released, we're obviously always looking for national and international touring possibilities. Now, while it's easy to book shows, finding professional situations that benefit all the bands and everybody involved is a bit more challenging. But we are always interested in this, and anybody that can provide that, please give us a call. In addition to music releases, I've also just completed a book about my life as a journeyman musician entitled Blood Groove. Now, we are looking for a publicist for this to give the release some justice and proper distribution and promotion as well. And finally, I have a concept to host or executive produce a TV series, which would be the music version of what Mr. Anthony Bourdain does with food. Now, I realize a few guys have taken a stab at this concept, but I believe I have a more global idea of what it should be, considering that every culture in the world has a music culture as well. I would also be very interested, where appropriate, to sit in with these people and perform with these artists on camera, which I believe would be a unique approach to this idea. You can recall the days when we used to assemble physical press kits? and send them out.
Oh
And,
yeah,
I mean,
what do they call those EPKs?
well, now they're electronic, but we used to have to physically have color prints.
You're talking about the hard copy
and
stuff.
mail stuff to people. I mean,
Yes.
you had $25 in every kid.
Oh, I know. I
So,
been there, done that.
The internet's really nice that it's
Oh, yeah.
just free, man, and it's available worldwide. That was a big help.
Sure was. I remember spending a lot of money. I remember one year I put tons of these press kits for country clubs.
Oh.
You know, I bet you I spent at least a couple, $200-300.
Oh yeah,
Didn't get one gig.
I know. That was the other part of it.
Right. You know, it's like you're standing there going, wow.
So it's a lot
I can't
nicer.
believe I did all that.
Just click a mouse now, and just post it. It's great.
It's great.
We've
It is
had
great.
really good response on the Bonneville profile. I mean, considering we haven't played a show yet, we have like 800 and some followers. I got to give credit to the guys in the band. They help a lot with that.
Well, let me back up a second. The Celtic thing. Are they still active?
No,
Okay. So when you departed from there, what was the reason? What was their reaction?
We had a real tough time at the label, and there was a lot of just the business got hold of us, and
It happens a lot.
it happens to everybody. And I didn't know that until I got into that level. Every band pretty much gets screwed the first time around, and it's
Sure.
up, if you can last long enough to renegotiate and get into a better deal, then you can move forward. But I don't know one band that's not been screwed the first time around.
Of
And I
course.
mean famous bands. Even stories of the Rolling Stones didn't get paid till the mid-'70s, late 70s.
Yeah, I know.
And they're massive.
Yeah,
So-
there's a lot. I've known a lot of people in the business. There was a group in New York called Dupree's many years ago, and I was a teenager when those guys were doing their thing, and they had about 4 or 5 hits on the charts back then, and they told me that they never got paid for. The only way they make money is touring.
It's common.
The label never paid them a penny for anything.
It's common. Sadly.
There's a book called Hitman, and it explains all that. It's all these old guys from the 60s and 50s that owned labels in New York.
Yeah.
They bragged about how they ripped off a lot of these artists, many of them black, and just, racially profiling them by saying, well, we'll buy him a Cadillac.
That's it.
He'll be all right with that.
I think that even happened to Elvis.
Yeah, I'm sure
as,
it
as
did.
big as he was.
Yeah.
So it's rough out there.
Yeah,
But it always was.
It's a brutal. It really is a brutal.
Well, when I went to Europe, I left a boy and returned a man.
yeah,
I'll tell you that.
I'll bet. Tell us more about Europe. What's their attitudes over there about music?
Oh, great. And so diverse. Go to a festival there. You'll see a metal band. You'll see a disco band. You'll see a rock band. It's just, they don't categorize things like the States.
Yeah.
And they're very open-minded to...
I think they're much more open-minded than
Yes.
here. We've talked about that before on the show with Bambo Kino, and he's a friend of mine and been a guest on the show many times. Great musician, and we talked about how what he's been doing is marketing his music online, of course. Then he says he gets a great response in Europe.
Oh, I see.
He actually sells music over there, gets licensing and stuff, and nothing here. And I'll give you another example. When we used to play at do you remember the Ramada Inn on Belmont Avenue?
Sure.
We used to play there, and of course it's right next to Route 80.
Right.
And of course Route 80 is an intercontinental highway, and people from all over the world used to come in there. We met people from Australia,
Wow.
from Germany, from Spain, Italy. I mean, they were all there because they were traveling via Route 80. And of course, they'd stop at Ramada Inn, on Belmont Avenue for, whatever. So we were playing there, and we used to get people from all over the world come up to us and tell us, boy, if you guys came to Germany, or if you came to France, or you came to Spain, you guys would be kings over
I
there.
heard that as well. Well, look at Jimi Hendrix. He couldn't get arrested in America. He had to go to
Oh, I know.
UK to
Yeah.
get discovered. I mean,
The UK is great for all of that.
Yeah.
They're like you said, they're so much more open-minded over there, and it pains me to say that, but it is what it is.
it is what it is. That's
Yeah.
what we have to deal with.
Exactly. So, describe your music. This is okay. This is subsonic,
Subsonic.
but if this said Ron Marks on it instead of subsonic,
Well, it
would
does.
it be basically the same thing?
I play every part. I sing every word.
Okay.
It's all me. Hard rock and roll. But also, there's an acoustic album as well.
Oh, good.
And there's also a solo album that I released called Sour Pup.
I don't recall the conversation. I drank a fifth and beat her fist in. Oh Lord, sometimes love hurts. Honey, I need to know what you mean to me. I pray to my God and my country bears a plea. Darling, these two arms just might love you to death. You can dial 911 as you're taking your last breath. Now I'm jailed, I count the hours. I'm so afraid they'll drag me back in the showers. Oh Lord, sometimes love hurts. Sometimes love hurts. Sometimes love hurts.
Your schedule link, is that on your website? Is that ronmarks.com, or
Well,
where would your schedule be that people could find out where you guys are playing?
Bonneville Nation on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It'll have a promotional video, bio, a link to our EPK, and dates.
Have you ever thought about doing anything else? I mean, have you ever come to a day where say, okay, love the music, been there, done that, it's time for me to do something else. Maybe I'll get a job at a slaughterhouse or something,
Drag racing.
Drag racing.
Yeah. That'd be my other choice.
Well, tell us about
Can't
that.
make a living at that either.
Well, no, it's probably
So that's the story of my life.
Yeah. So what have you done in drag racing?
Oh, watched more than anything. I did a little racing years ago, but nothing big. But
What, like a stock car, NASCAR type of thing?
no, straight line drag racing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been to many national events. Angela and I went to U.S. Nationals last year in Indianapolis.
Cool.
Just love it.
Do you know how to soup a car up?
Oh, yeah.
You get in there and you get
I'll
grease
build a-
all over you and stuff.
Build a few engines, build a few cars in my day.
Oh, that's great.
I love it.
Yeah. So what else is in store for you?
Man, we're just pushing Bonneville to the moon. We want to take it into corporate America. We want to go national with it. We want to get on a plane and go gig, man.
Yeah.
And go make some good scratch. And Europe's not out of the question either. I think timing is right. I think in corporate America, a lot of the CEOs and these cats are my age now, and they grew up with that music. And I think we can, let's go play Microsoft's Christmas party.
So how is I don't follow metal myself, but how is metal doing presently in the who's the hottest metal band right now?
You know, the big push in metal was in the '80s. That's when it was, you know,
Yeah.
Metallica broke and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's gone back to the underground, I believe. I don't really follow it that much either. I had to have somebody else tell me about this Frost tribute band because I'm just more of a rock guy than a metal guy, but it always stays. You know, it never quite goes away. There's always this underground cult following for metal, and they're extremely loyal fans. I attended a show in Columbus 2 summers ago, and I had 25-year-old kids looking at me. I'm like, you weren't even born when I was in this band. How does it have so much lasting power? How can it sustain itself so long? So that's something about metal fans. I mean, they never go away. So I was flattered by that.
Do you like any of today's music at all?
Oh, sure.
Who do you like?
Government Mule.
Oh, I remember them.
Yeah.
They're not really today though. I mean, they've been around a while.
Just saw them last summer. They're still around.
Oh, okay.
Um,
How about people like the Imagine Dragons and people like that? They're all right.
okay. Some of it's a bit corporate for me.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of originality coming out of it. It's all,
No grit.
well, it's all approved
Oh,
There's nobody shaking it up. There's nobody causing any trouble.
that happens in movies too, a lot.
I think that those are the only people allowed to play the game anymore.
Yeah, there's so much interference from production. We talked about that on the show before. There's so much interference from the production people that stand around and watch the movie being shot and stuff like that. And we've heard so many stories about this. But you can't, a director can't do something, and he has to get approval from production, corporate. It's a corporate thing.
Well, it's a problem because it's so corporate that there's no artists allowed anymore. Artists are troublemakers. Artists ask questions. And artists have vision, and they're difficult, and they want their way.
Yeah.
And corporate America doesn't want to deal with that.
I know.
So the only people allowed to play the game are yes men. Those who agree, and those who are obedient. You know? And the material reflects that. To answer your question about today's music,
Yeah. I mean, it's a little washed out.
Pretty vapid, pretty empty.
Yeah.
Because there's no troublemakers anymore.
Yeah.
Those are the people who made it fun.
And it's really also too is the fact that there aren't really any records being made anymore. There are no, even CDs are becoming a thing of the past.
Right.
It's all digital download now, and it's all changed so much.
Yeah, and that doesn't bother me so much, but it's just all product for commerce.
Yeah.
I don't hear any art in it. I don't hear any guts in it. I don't hear any soul in it. It's just 3 minutes that go by, and I mean, my goodness, who has a stereo anymore?
Yeah.
It's all phones and earbuds. I mean,
Yeah.
what?
That's right.
I mean, how much fun did we have choosing our stereos and our components?
Yeah.
You know, couldn't wait to get that new record.
Yeah.
put it on.
Put it on that stereo, and it sounded great.
It just
too.
goes by now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a washout.
But there's something to be said about technology and the digital downloads and all that. I love listening to songs on my iPhone and my buds.
Oh, it's great. I mean, the fact that I'm with Digital Syndicate Network, which is out of Arizona, the fact that they can plug me in the pipeline and I'm on iTunes and Amazon and all that, that could have never happened 20 years ago.
Does that cost you money?
No.
It's free?
No, they're very nice people, and they dig my music and they dig my past, and I've been with them probably 10 years now.
Do you submit any material anywhere, like on SongTrader or stuff like that?
No.
No?
No, I'm not running that race. I just
Bears no fruit.
I do my thing, and DSN gladly and graciously distributes it worldwide, and I don't know what else to do. I mean, it's so hard to make any money to get paid. We even quit touring with Subsonic because we can't get paid. So I don't know how much I'm running that race anymore, and that was kind of the inspiration to do Bonneville.
And when you say touring with Subsonic, is that a label thing? Did they?
Well, that's just it. There's no support from anyone. It comes out of my pocket.
Yeah, of course.
And you go play Indianapolis or Chicago or whatever, and they hand you $50 for the whole band at the end of the night.
Oh my God.
Maybe, and maybe not. And so every night I'm apologizing to my band, and that gets old. And I'm the one that has to make up for it. You know, the van, the hotel, the whole nine.
You're better off sticking around here. I mean, at least you'll get paid.
Well, that's the reason we're doing Bonneville, is because that is marketable and that can get paid.
Yeah. Well, Ron, thanks for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Great talking to you.
Great talking.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Continued success.
Thank you. Same
And
to you.
we'll look for you everywhere because you are everywhere.
We're going to be a lot of places. We're making sure of that.
Did you hear that? You better check it out on his website. Ron Marks, everybody. I'm Tommy Chris. Great to have you with us this time, and we'll see you next time. Take care.